Welcome to the 9th webinar in the Alternatives and Simulation in Education webinar series, organised by Interniche, the Johns Hopkins Centre for Alternatives to Animal Testing, CAT, and Ombion Centre for Animal-Free Biomedical Translation. We'll be recording this webinar, and as always, you can post your questions and comments in the chat, and we'll address those after the presentation. This webinar series began in November 2025 and continues the dialogue from the International Conference on Alternatives and Simulation in Education, a satellite of the 13th World Congress on Alternatives and Animal Use in the Life Sciences held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 2025. In monthly webinars, we're exploring education through the use of humane, innovative learning tools and alternatives to animal experiments, progress in science through education and training in cutting-edge non-animal methods, or NAMs, and the link between humane education and humane science and the paths to ethical careers. The webinar series YouTube playlist will be posting in the chat. Our presenter today is Katarina Novaković, the Interniche National Contact for Serbia, and a veterinary clinical pathologist with 18 years of experience in veterinary diagnostic laboratory medicine. She helped lobby for the Animal Protection Act 2009 and for refinements to the draft legislation, particularly regarding animal experimentation and alternatives in education. So a big welcome to Katarina, bringing us a presentation on the Serbian legal ban on animal use in education, history and challenges, ethics committees, and social change. Welcome, Katarina.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm happy to talk about this topic, and I wondered that this is topic is not so interesting anymore, but actually I realized that that we are again in a kind of problem, and we need to defend this article and this law again. So I will explain later what it is, but I realized today that we have lots of work to do. I will start with this photograph. It's quite emotional for me because it's a symbol of lots of things that we are going to talk today. You can see this really nice girl student protesting, whistling and holding the student, we call it index in Serbian. It's kind of student ID, but you can put marks there, etc. And it's a symbol being a student in Serbia. And you will see it through this story, and from my perspective, that students and social movements had a great role in animal protection in general, and now we can see that there is a big role in environmental protection. For some reason, and we are not sure why, every 28 years in Serbia, we have a huge student protest. It was actually in Yugoslavia, 1968, and then 1996 and 2024. And yeah, maybe we are going to find out why we are so punctual, but we feel that we now need to do so many things, because otherwise we need to wait additional 26 years. Just a brief history. On the left side you have a photograph, quite old one, but very important for us. It means Belgrade is the world. They signed banner at the beginning, and it was really important banner during protest on 1996, when a student and civic protest started back then. And the point wasn't that Belgrade is a center and we are so important, but we wanted to say that every protest, every kind of, fight for the right is a world fight, is not just a local one. Then on 1997, these protests kind of ended, but we could feel that something changed in the society, and then that we need to be together in the future in order to, change and be determined in that. Then important thing, because after 1999 and the NATO bombardment of Serbia, Yugoslavia, and Serbia and Montenegro, actually we could feel that it's really our wish is not to live like this anymore, and we need to change something drastically. And during 2000, year 2000, and especially on 5th of October, democratic change, and we are calling revolution, happened, and it was like a huge thing for us. And I was back then a student, and we could feel that change in every institution, and we kind of wanted to start something new. And on veterinary faculty, we started an organized animal welfare group. Just to remind, and I don't want to say that everything in Serbia and Yugoslavia started with us, that there were really important movement groups, societies back then in the 19th century, then throughout 20th. An important group like Help Animals and the local society of Vojvodina, Belgrade, etc. And big shout out to Dražen Bicic, first national contact for Serbia. He started and he entered this cooperation with Interniš in Serbia. So yeah, big shout out to Dražen. As I said, we started one student group, animal protection group called ORCA. And actually it was a group where 10 students and 10 professors of veterinary faculty met. And we said, okay, we should start something really new, and to be determined and try to change and to make big changes. And we started with different projects, with different campaigns, and one of the most important campaigns that we started was lobbying for law, Animal Protection Law Act, also for the replacement of animals in education on our faculty first. And also strain animals. That was an important part of our group, and important not just for our group, also for as civic, as a issue that was important for whole Belgrade actually at that point. You can see that we organized and started with different kind of events, different kinds of initiatives, and also different faculties, like medical faculty, started to innovate and to change some things before the law, and before you could feel that wish to change and wish to move on, to make it better. And so we started with campaign Mouse or Mouse, and this is actually the first panel, let's say, and it was actually the first prize that we won Interniš it organized the Interniš, and we got 2 softwares for pharmacology departments, and this was like presentation of these softwares. So you can see the photograph is old because it is, but we are very, very proud of it because with one computer, one projector, and 2 donations, we started something important for us. And also shout out to our professor who, without any further knowledge about software as alternatives, but she felt that is something good, better, and we should proceed in that direction. We also organized the different kind of events on the various faculties, on biology faculty, veterinary faculty, also stands and promoting Lab Animal Day, and trying to, just bring this topic, alternatives and replacement as an important thing. I like this initiative. It was in Novi Sad, northern town in Serbia. Biology faculty, one group of students started their campaign for alternatives in physiology and anatomy there, and it's called Better Click Than Squeak. And what I like this here, you could see that the crowd is not. There is not a great number of crowd, but we had one of the best discussion I ever attended because in Novi Sad faculty is on a campus, so you can have a crowd like this formed of various different faculties. Agriculture, medical, philosophy, etc. So we had one of the really best discussion, and these things were important for us. As I said, medical faculty did lots of things, really good things. They fully replaced animals in education, especially in pharmacology and physiology. They formed ethical committee before the law act, Animal Protection Act, made it mandatory, and you could see these are first steps with only one computer on a table for each group, but then they got a really IT room with most 2 students per computer, and they are now really advanced in this. To me, this is my personal wish to say thank you to Interniche for helping groups and people like us wanting to help replacement in education, and this was my first conference on this topic, and what I learned there, I really used back then in lobbying and like pushing this topic, this law further, and that this support is still present, as you can see. We waited for the law for the long period, so we as a group, ORCA, suggested a resolution of animal protection. It was an act that we wrote, and we offered to different institutions as a support. They could support this resolution, and the important part of this resolution was again lab animal protection and the replacement in the education. And it was now we can see that it was important step because important institutions supported, like various faculties, universities, institutes, scientific institutes, and also our president, then democratically elected president of Serbia, this person in the center, and this is actually from the event of signing this resolution from his side, and you could see 3 of us on the left side from ORCA, being recognized and this topic actually recognized. So that was quite, important point, because then we could push these articles from resolution as important issues, as important topics. And if you compare, for instance, you can see some sentences and ideas from resolution in our Animal Protection Act that we have now. Also, that support was continuous, and this was a meeting with the RCPCA member. Three of us, you can see three of us from OCA and president talking about stray animal control and the problem that we had about it. So you can see that, talking to president about stray animals around the round table was possible in 2009. And we were quite happy because of it. And then Animal Protection Act was alive, was born 2009, and on 2009, and we were quite happy because during that period, especially on 2008, lobbying was really high, really vivid, and we tried to push as much as we could from our perspective and resolution, everything we could. And one of the most important part, and also to say that we at one point we had 35 pages of comments on the draft of the law, and 9 pages we wrote only on a lab animal topic. So you can see that was also important topic at that period, and luckily lots of our suggestions and comments are found now in a law. And this is the article, the main thing and the main point of this presentation, and the main point of this, everything we are talking about today. The main point is that you cannot use animals in any level of education that is causing a pain, suffering, fear, stress, injury, and death. So you can use animals just in observational, as an observation character, and you can use animals just in a beneficial way in undergraduate level, that is not disrupting the life, well-being, physical, psychological, and genetic integrity of animals. This is something they are defending now again, and you will see later that this article is jeopardized by new drafts, and we are trying. This is a third attempt to defend the old drafts, because some new suggestions from the government now are not so beneficial. But we're going to talk and see about it. But this is mainly inspired and informed by interniche policy, and while lobbying for this article, we had on our minds everything we learned previously and discussed previously on numerous occasions. So I can say that every step was important. But then we realized that, okay, we have a law, but we need to make it, alive, to live. So we organized as a group, but also as members of ethical committees. We organized different events, different different things like science festivals, seminars for biology teachers, because we realized that they need to be informed about alternatives, why these alternatives are really good as a educational tool, also to inform them, to show them, and we needed to approach professors, but also parents. Also, we organized the different panel discussions, round tables. We kept lobbying because we realized that a few departments, they didn't agree about this replacement. They wasn't happy about it, and especially they wasn't happy because usually there was one important figure, like very first scientist, very first professor that founded this department, and that person started with important experiments for them. So they felt like replacing some of these experiments is going to be like betrayal, and they are not going to be as good as they professors, they mentors. So we try to approach from different sides, and to suggest that tradition is good, but we need to change, improve, and not to stay in the past. We also worked a lot with the media. We did lots of monitoring of a law using a survey, and you will see some of the results. Also organized conferences, workshops, and we were part of the numerous ethical committees, and I was especially in a part of an ethical committee on medical faculty, biology faculty, and then ethical council as a working group, like umbrella organization in this field. This is one of the most important parts, I think, that we did, because we got accreditation from Ministry of Science and Education, and for the 3 school years we organized numerous seminars for biology teachers, and actually we worked with the teachers from primary, secondary school, showing alternatives and trying to find the best way to implement as much as we could, and to suggest and to start some creative thinking about how can we use alternatives in different ways. And you could see one of the workshops here, and this was one of the really nice discussion that we had about frog, and how can we use this software in primary and secondary school, and yeah, we had really nice results. And just to mention, you can see the person close to the wall. This is one professor, biology professor from a rural part of Serbia, and you will see some of the really nice initiative and memo he made a few years later. This is a grammar school that in Belgrade. And also we organized the science festivals. Actually, science festival we started prior to this seminar for biology teachers, and we were during these science festival we were inspired and actually got the idea to organize seminars for professors. But you can see that we had various groups as groups to show alternatives, parents with children, professors with the pupils, and that was also interesting perspective, because that was the only way to approach parents too, because they are part of the educational program, and we had really nice discussions with them too. And you could see that, at one point, I tried to find this photograph, but at one point, on one side of the table, we had a girl, 5 years old girl, and on the other side, it was like elder man, 77 years old. So that was a really nice boost for us, and we got so many ideas from this event, and also being there for 4 years, 4 days, all day, talk about animal replacement in education, really tested us and our our ability to explain and to answer to every question. This is a survey I was mentioning. We used one law that we have in Serbia. This is a law that allows everyone to ask any institution in Serbia that is public anything they want. So we ask about how many animals do they use per year, per species, per purpose, etc. And we did it twice, on 2005 and 2013, for a period of 10 years actually, or something like that. And we got this results for education. That was a really good result, and actually through this let's say by asking these institutions if they said that they still use animals in education despite having Animal Protection Act. Actually, we used the opportunity to approach to these institutions and professors and ask why are they using is ethical committee banning that, or and actually the replacement went even better after this contact and survey. But unfortunately, another law that made mandatory lots of testing for pharmacy and industry. You could see that for drug testing, we got a huge, like 10 times more animals were used after that. So overall, I'm not sure that we succeeded so much, but from the perspective of education, it was a success. And now you can see that professor from one of the previous photographs, and I will start with the good examples with this school that actually organized the joint class of English class and biology class, and using this software, Earthworm software, explaining on one side, explaining some English terms, and on the other side, explaining biology of earthworm. And he was inspired by our seminars. Also, we have really good examples on medical and veterinary faculty about replacement, starting with pharmacology. On medical faculty, they even started during 90s to replace. So it was even better, and they felt this movement even earlier than everyone. Then medical physiology on medical Faculty of Medicine, Belgrade. They did one really good how to put it, like project of them. They organized the professor that was leading this department. She organized every Thursday a workshop and brainstorming how to replace animals on a practical part, of course, but not, not harming educational process. So education and the educational outcome was the main goal, but also to replace animals whenever and however you can. And they were just, gathering every Thursday and trying to find the best alternatives and maybe to make some. And they did it. They replaced every single animal. You can see that these are textbooks with some working book area for students. So they made really advanced textbooks and course using various alternatives, softwares, films, self-testing, and etc. And they even won a prize for educational achievement on medical faculty for this. And this is also a very important textbook for me because you could see in 2001 when we started with two softwares that we won as a prize on an interniche course. But now we have a textbook that is mentioning animal protection law in introduction, and why it's important to have this kind of, not cutting edge, but very advanced textbook, but also to be harmonized with the Animal Protection Act, and they put it almost at the beginning of the introduction. And also now as we are quite little bit better economically, we could purchase even better alternatives models like this. And now alternatives are mainstream, as you could see, as our wish we had in Oslo 2005. Now I think that we live it. And about ethics committees, I think that they are also an important part of this process about replacing animals in education, but also for research. These are main roles and main goals of ethical committees: assess the ethical justification, promote education of animal welfare, and actually we as an ethical committee and medical faculty organized one really good conference on this. They are now mandatory for every institution using animals. They are providing guidance, but also conducting unannounced or not announced inspections. And this was important thing, I think, because we could see in reality what is happening, but not because we are going to, ban something or do something, really severe. But it was one of the way to educate and to, approach to professors and scientists in this institution. And one thing that is important, it is multidisciplinary composition. Experienced researchers are there, statistician, veterinarians, the different kind of veterinarians, surgeon, and animal welfarist, and one person from NGO. And I can say that from my experience, that was really good experience, actually. And I could ask as many questions as I could. I could insist on some things that I found important, and especially in that medical faculty and in ethical council. we didn't end our discussion until I was happy with answers. And the chair, he used to ask, at the end, okay, Katarina, no more question. Okay, are you happy? Not so much, but I will conclude this. So overall, I think that we were actually able to promote alternatives through ethical committees, and I will again stress it later. And Ethical Council is a working group, is like I said, umbrella group, organization above other ethical committees, working group of Ministry of Agriculture, and it's also doing some reviews. Some most severe experiments are assessing from ethical points of view, and promoting 3R principle, starting from replacement. And you could also there was a questions how we are doing this. We are doing from through forms that every scientist or professor willing to do experiments need to explain why, how many, and what are the procedures. And we are challenging them with the question: can you replace? Do you have alternative? Sometimes we find some alternatives and ask them if they can use this widest number of animals, and sometimes we invited additional experts to do some additional assessment. Challenges, we had some challenges because we were like a group, but we were like in our niche, and we were talking to each other. But sometimes if institution is not willing to implement all this, we were without powerless. And we could go and check and do this kind of inspection, but doing this voluntary, we didn't have so much time. And actually, also members of these ethical committees didn't realize how 3R is important and what is the real knowledge, the real point of 3R, and especially the 4th R, responsibility. So we realized that either researchers, professors, and members of ethical committee are not so competent and trained in this part. So we that was really slow beginning. Also, we had just a few veterinarians working with animals in laboratories. So Animal Protection Act was they were obliged by Animal Protection Act to be there, but still, and veterinary faculty needed to provide these well-trained veterinarians in this field, and that was also something that you needed to wait and to see as an important issue and topic. But on the other side, I think that contribution, and the most important contribution, was upheld the Animal Welfare Act to promote replacement every single time, and for every experiment, for every animal that we could. We raised awareness. Ethical review was something that was an institution now. And multidisciplinary decision making was really fresh perspective for our institutions, because they are usually in like I said, in the small niche, and they are talking to themselves, and this kind of multidisciplinary interaction and decision making was important. And also this helped with the harmonization of EU standards in general. But to be totally honest and objective, I would like now to list some of the challenges and criticism for this act, and some of this criticism you can hear, still, and after these numerous discussions and numerous really good examples of replacement, but yeah, we are still talking about, and we will. One of the criticism was that observational exercises wasn't so clear. So what is observation? How, what is the distance? Is it stressful or not? That you needed to be more precise. Not clear that can you do dissection of natural diseased animals, and on the other hand, someone can kill animals, say, okay, this is someone else killed, and I found this animal. So that was the tricky part. Also. Biology experiments and biology, I need to say that biology teachers on faculty, they were really difficult in discussions. For instance, on medical faculty, it was actually easier to talk about alternatives. Veterinary faculty, quite easier, but biology faculty was one of the most difficult, and also the discrepancy of educational levels was found in this argument, in this criticism, and also that. As I said, biology teachers and some veterinary educators found that students need a proper hands-on training in anatomy, pathology, etc. But refused sometimes to talk about alternatives, saying that it's expensive, that it's too complicated, etc. So we have alternatives, really good models, really good solutions, but still they found the old way, best way. And again, especially biology teachers and the article in the journal Pedagogical Reality in 2014 argued that you cannot ban teacher to teach like they want, because they responsibility is to bring the best education they can, and you are banning this. And also EU practice is strict, but not so strict. So still by directive, you are not banned to use animals in education. So it's said that it's even more strict than EU legislation, and that was also one of the criticism. And last year, on two occasions, in January and in August, And I heard just before this webinar that actually this draft law is again on a program, and it was adopted. And just to mention and enter another protest that is organized by students in Serbia since November 2024. Everything started after railway station in Novi Sad collapsed and killed 16 people, injured 1, and a huge protest, student and then civic protest started from then, and we are still in it. So you have 2 processes now. One process is student and civic protest and movement, and the other one is huge change of so many laws now, and trying to use every opportunity to find funds for this political party that is in charge. So you can see that they're now ruining so many good institutions, and not just animal protection law that we have. For instance, public debate wasn't present in August 2025, and now is not actually. They're using this opportunity, vacation, not so many people, and they just, put it silently, this draft, and someone from assembly, push this information, and we heard on social media. And the whole process is carried out without good intention. That is my point. I didn't have time to analyze these drafts, the current one, but as I heard from my friends from animal protection groups, they are really similar. This one is really similar to the previous of the last year. So these objections are standing still. And for instance, they're trying to organize stray animal control by giving the permission to private firms and organizations to catch these animals, and they are going to earn some money on that, and have funds for that. And after 15 days, I think they're going to euthanize these animals. This is totally not aligned with the US standard in stray animal control, and also in some parts of lab animals protection, and there is no veterinary care in shelters, for instance, by this law. So can you imagine, we are talking about animal protection law that is not making mandatory veterinary care in animal shelters, and etc. And what it's hurts the most is that this Article 44 is becoming, or not, we are going to see a new Article 58. The first part that I mentioned is staying, but there is one but. That first paragraph, that you cannot use animals in a harmful way, minister using opinion and based on opinion of ethical council can approve one academic school year some other teaching methods on animals if there is no alternative. And we know that there are so many alternatives, but ethical council that is totally not transparent now is actually making that decision. So yeah, we are kind of making finding a whole gap in this law. This was from last year, and this helped to postpone this draft last year. But obviously, now we are going to organize similar protest, and not just protests, but you know, we are going to push from different sides to postpone again, and to show what is our perspective and what is our goal. These are some of my thoughts on a question: why is Serbia unique in adopting Article 44? Now you can see that it is a question still. It is going to still be that article, but one of the reasons why we have this kind of article, I think, is that we are one of the last European countries to adopt this kind of act. And we had the time to collect arguments, examples, other legislation. We also relatively small countries, so it was really easy for us to reach stakeholders and build support. The replacement was present, and maybe 70 or 80% of animals, they were replaced before this article. So it wasn't so easy to explain why it's important and possible. Back then, and especially now, we have high quality alternatives. So it's a really strong argument. And also, once when you invest in alternatives, it's a really good investment. So it was easier to use alternatives for some of the people. And also, as you could see, the influence of social change, and student advocacy was important parts for this article. And now, from this perspective, being part of numerous social change, social protest movements, I can say, and I can, suggest to, other groups and other countries, other nations to think about it, to think about this kind of, gathering, and not just gathering. It's important because you're through this gathering and through this kind of, really organized gathering through time, you are becoming more responsive, but also you are kind of bringing up some topics, and you are discussing a lot about it. You're learning, you're raising awareness during this process. You are. It's a test, it's a reality check for some topics. If they resonate with society, they're going to show what society is actually talking about, what is important for the society in this very moment. And you can see now in Serbia that topics about environmental protection, human rights, and animal protection, they are really important for us. And you could see during this almost two years of protests. And yeah, sometimes we are reacting within 24 hours if needed, because we are, kind of used to be together and to work together. And this is one of the last photographs, just to show you what was happening in Serbia during these 2 years. For instance, students, they were organizing numerous protests, and not just protests, in almost every town in Serbia, but also they they were going by foot from one town to the other one, especially trying to reach to the parts of Serbia that are quite, alone, that the elderly people are living there. They try to connect and to talk to these people to understand what was the problem, also to support some areas with different nationalities and different religion. So you could see really important march toward the southern western part of Serbia, and you could see only support to something that is progressive and really good intention. And if I need to leave this webinar with a few thoughts, I think that intention is everything here, and student and the civic movement has a really good intention, and the intention is to make something good for this country and society. And our government is not with this good intention. And this is the last photograph, and this is authentic movement. As you can see, this is one of the central squares in Serbia called Slavia. It's a Slavic goddess, and we are just gathering till we succeed in what we wanted. So I would now like to answer to questions, or we can start the discussion.
Thank you very much, Katarina. That was wonderful to hear. Such a lot of history and effort from so many different organizations and individuals in so many different ways, bringing about the Animal Protection Act and the Article 44 with its ban on harmful animal use in education, which is unique. So much appreciated with the sharing.
Monique is asking, what were the most difficult educational activities to replace, and what was the replacement?
Really good question, and I think that this is one of the most important problematic fields to find replacement. It's experimental physiology on the biology faculty, because it's something, I don't know if it's unique for Serbia or not, doesn't matter, but that pathological physiology was a challenge, and especially because there are some, there are not so many alternatives on pathological physiology issue, and also these kind of experiments are very unique, and you can just film them, but on the other side it's experiments, and they really like to show the results, and quite often they're quite nasty. So it's really big challenge to find a replacement for unique and complicated experiment. And to me, I'm not here to argue with professor, but is it for undergraduate level, this kind of experiment? But they say it is, so yeah.
One of the pathophysiology softwares developed in Ukraine and described by Dmitry Leporsky in a previous webinar was also developed for the same reason, I believe in Ukrainian and Russian language. We don't currently have that in English at the moment, but that might be something that could be useful, because it is more of a Eastern European and former Soviet discipline, pathophysiology. So that might be something to look at. We've also got another question from Laura. What is the academic background of the majority of students who got involved in the demonstrations, or who are involved in the demonstrations?
I cannot I cannot say that that there is any speciality. I think that all faculties and all universities took part, and almost at the same number, and some of the faculties with a low number of students actually had so many participants. So I would say, all students, undergraduate, but supported with the postgraduate students. For them, sometimes it was difficult for postgraduate PhD students, because they're usually working on a university, and there were some problems with their engagement, etc. So that was kind of not pleasant situation for them, but still they were part of it. But we have like agriculture students, law, also arts, philosophy, veterinary students, and actually veterinary students are blocking one street every Friday on 11:52 when that roof collapsed, because it was a Friday 11:52 a.m. and they are blocking every week for almost they've been blocking for 2 years, sorry. So yeah, it's a small step, one street, but 2 years.
And what about the general public involvement? We're talking about the students. Of course, students are part of the general public, but non-student involvement in the protests.
Well, we realized that as students, they were really good organized. I'm talking about this current protest, and civic movement was like dispersed, was like chaotic, and we realized that we need to organize ourselves better, and we started from municipalities. Actually, we started to organize similar to the student organization, and actually some of the sociocracy perspective was used in this. So it's one another issue, but permaculture, social permaculture, using in different ways. But we were organized in municipalities, and then among different municipalities, and then making a network. So and connection with the student movement. And nowadays it's really, we can react really fast, and because we can react really locally in that municipality, or we can gather within 24 hours in a one town, and actually we can travel to the next town really fast. So organization is everything.
And you're reacting to what exactly? What are the reactions to?
To various things, like if we are talking about environmental issues, we have so many issues with mining, especially in the western part of Serbia, but not just in western part of Serbia. We have 52 sites in Serbia explored or starting with the mining. So and laws are changing in favor to Rio Tinto, Dandy, and other group wanting to mine. So this is one of the examples. The other one is when they arrest some student without any reason, or numerous students, and or not just students. We are, protesting and asking, to play by law. And for instance, I gave an example for animal protection law, and also, after some elections, local elections, we are organizing and trying to protect and support people on that municipality to stop some illegal activities. So we are kind of trying to stop so-called Bulgarian train way of stealing voices, etc. So really various things, but but usually arresting and mining.
So demanding the release of protesters and demanding an end, the mining not to begin, and so on, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Jessica says congratulations. She wants to know more about how the students and others are connecting on these issues. What's the best ways to create these networks, she asks.
Students actually they were organizing so-called plenum. I'm not sure how to translate. Nick, can you help me? It's kind of way of gathering and discussing with the rules, and they started at the very beginning. So you can bring, topic at the beginning. There are some rules how to do it, etc. And I could see lots of sociocracy in this, so I like it. And also, I suggest to explore more about connection between permaculture and this activism in Serbia, because lots of social permaculture ideas are incorporated in this movement. But direct democracy. This is the best way to do it. Just direct and recognize that everything is starting from us, from our perspective. Not wait anyone to change anything. And how to create a network from local, municipality, faculty, and then connect.
Can you tell us a little more about the permaculture ideas? Not everyone will know what permaculture is as a design approach or more, but what are the sort of basic permaculture principles? What is the idea about it, and how is it being applied, would you say?
Yeah, well, it's a long story, and it's so difficult to explain permaculture as a concept, because it's really opposite of something that we are living in our mindset. But to me, let's say how to explain in the easiest way. It's a way of living and philosophy, and lots of tools and lots of tools about how to live regenerative, not sustainable. Because what's sustainability, we can argue a lot, but to live regenerative, to use a problem as a solution, to act locally and then actually act globally. There are three ethics and 12 principles of permaculture that you can use in everyday life. The point is that we are one, and we need to think about marginal group. We think we need to learn from marginal groups, and because if these groups are happy, we are all happy, and bunch of other principles that they're important. But to me, regenerative approach, and I ask myself, everything I start to do now, the first question is to me, is it regenerative for me? And is it regenerative for my surrounding? And if it's not, then maybe we can do it in a different way. And for instance, I am working now, as you can see, in a veterinary lab, and I use this question as this perspective in a veterinary lab too. And we actually replaced few really toxic chemicals here, just asking ourselves, can we do it in a different way? And we did. We find a better solution. So I think that these, asking this question, can we do it, but in a better way, can give us lots of good answers.
So very much an ethics-based way of thinking, looking at earth care, people care, economic justice, and then thinking how we can design things and recreate things to be different, to be regenerative.
Fair share.
Fair shares, yeah. Okay, thank you. Obviously, there was a lot of different people involved in the promotion and lobbying for the Animal Protection Act, including Article 54 with its ban on harmful animal use in education, and so many different actions that were taken by you and by others. Were you envisaging such a long haul, such a wide range of actions, or was this something at the time that very much grew out of need and imagination?
No, we were thinking, okay, this is our goal, to have this kind of law, or this is our goal to implement this law. And yeah, we are going to do everything we need to do in order to get it. So when you are in this loop, you're not so thinking so much, is it too much? Can we do it more, rationally or so? But you're thinking about, what can we do? And some things we did, they were not so clever, so success, etc. But actually, everything we did, I think, was one step. Every step we had on the streets was one step, metaphorically and literally. So, I think that everything you do in order to achieve this some kind of protection is a good thing to do. So all collectively and cumulatively was important, I think. Not easy way. There is no easy way in this.
Are there any other questions that other attendees would like to ask? There's a comment from Wendy saying, thank you for sharing. Congratulations on your success. And she'll share the presentation with her colleagues. And there's another question being written. So we'll see when that arises. The number of animals that were used in education, it wasn't quite zero. I know you did the survey and found out that there was still something carrying on, and the teachers weren't really aware of the sufficiently aware of the law. Could you explain what that animal use was? Did that then drop to zero afterwards?
Yeah, I think that was one department on a university that was quite, let's say, young. And actually that university was formed at the same time as the Animal Protection Act. So actually, they didn't, they were not aware about it. So that survey actually was a way of informing them about it. But yeah, their reaction was quite good. And actually, I'm trying to calculate, how many animals we replaced, and yeah, these are many thousands of animals we replaced by alternative till now.
Is it largely zero in terms of harmful animal use in education at the moment, as the law should define?
Yeah. The only thing, but it's a trick that they're using. I heard they are joining master and the bachelor classes. So they are like using for postgraduate students. They're showing them some experiments, and they are inviting some students, and also on experimental physiology, like I answered at the beginning. So this is kind of, then they're skipping this article in a clever way. Yeah, so we cannot count this, but still they are using or not.
How have the students and teachers responded to the implementation of the alternatives? Obviously, as you said, some of the teachers were developing their own tools or purchasing them and implementing them with guidance and the booklets you talked about. But what was it more broadly? How have the teachers and students responded to the law and to the use of alternatives?
Yeah, well, like I said, of course, you have different perspectives and different opinions, and they have all rights to think like they think. But I think that most and really great majority are really supportive, because actually it's to them it's easier. It's different reasons. But most of the people, most of the professor actually support alternatives. And like I said, on medical faculty, pharmacy, veterinary medicine, it was quite easy to explain and to understand this law. But for some biologists, it wasn't so, because they are not, like they explained, they're not observing individual animals, but population. And their role is to protect population, not individual animals. So you can feel that huge difference between medicine and biology. Medicine is is looking towards one individual person or animal or human being, but yeah, biologists are different, and I'm also preparing for new discussions and new challenges from that side.
Indeed, yes. Well, thank you very much once again for a wonderful presentation. Very interesting, looking at how the development of the law began and was lobbied for, and then was implemented, and how you as a collective very much supported that process and influenced it. Is there anything you'd like to say as a sort of final comment in terms of legislation and social change, especially with the animal protection angle?
No, I just, yeah, we were not going to need all support now for our further fight, but no, I think that the main obstacles for the change is idea that we cannot change, and also we need to be really determined. And I think that nowadays groups are, not, I won't say that not determined, but we feel that we cannot change something, and we are leaving that fight sometimes quite soon. So I think that we just need to be more determined when some issues are important, like environmental issues or human rights or other issues or animal protection. So I think that and also we need to make larger groups. I think that individuals are fighting, but we are kind of alone, and yeah, we just need to show that we are like on a last photograph. And I'm sure that in every single town you can find this number of people that are for something good, but you know.
Thank you, and wishing you all the best for fighting the new drafts that are attempting to stop the effectiveness of existing legislation, and in the broader picture of social change and what you're trying to achieve. And it's great to hear about the sort of ethical base, the connections between people, the alliances between different movements and concerns. So I'm sure on behalf of everyone, good luck with that in Serbia, and thank you very much indeed for the webinar. I also want to thank Valentin Salomon and Ombion for the technical support and hosting the Teams event today. So thank you, Valentin, for that. Do you want to, Valentin, talk about the next webinar in the series?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Nick, and thanks, Katarina. Just saying a word that the webinar series on alternative and simulation in education continue. The next webinar will take place next month on the 31st of August. It will be about peer review. And there will be two speakers for this event, Dr. Jess Roman and Dr. Toivo Glass. They will present Peerspective, an innovative research-led peer review training program. And so we invite you to join this event. I'm sharing right now the registration link in the chat. So feel free to have a look and share it, or we will be happy to have you with us.
Thank you very much. So yes, everyone's welcome to that. And you saw earlier in the chat the YouTube playlist link, so you can look at other webinars that were recorded and have been edited and posted online. So do come along to these any of these monthly webinars. You're very welcome to attend. And just one final thank you to Katarina Novaković for the wonderful presentation today, and to everyone for attending the event. So thanks again and goodbye.